Liberals want to spend more of your money. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.media. Do you remember the good old days of budget surpluses? Do you remember back to April and the budget? Strong leadership? This is the budget put out by Joe Oliver back in the spring. It projected a surplus of $1.4 billion, almost $2 billion next year, and it grew from there. Well, now the Liberals are in charge and they want things done differently. They want deficits. And they're going to get them one way or another. They promised deficit spending in the lead up to the election. They said, we're going to invest in infrastructure, such as green infrastructure and social infrastructure. They redefined the term to expand spending. Fine, fair enough, that's water under the bridge. Canadians voted for the Liberals and we will get the government we deserve. But the Liberals aren't happy to say that they're going to create deficit spending. They want to blame the former government as well. So in his fiscal update, Bill Morneau, the new finance minister, a man who admitted at the beginning of his news conference that he's only been in the job for 16 days, well, he announced that instead of having a surplus, we're going to have a $3 billion deficit for the current fiscal year.
We now face a deficit of $3 billion in 2015-2016 and $3.9 billion in 2016-2017.
Now, what's really shocking with this isn't that Morneau doesn't agree with Joe Oliver's numbers from the spring. No, it's that he doesn't agree with the Parliamentary Budget Office's numbers. Now, I don't have a lot of faith in the PBO, but the PBO is what the Liberals have hung their hat on for so many years. As Lisa Raitt pointed out, when the Conservatives responded to Morneau's obfuscation and magic trick when it comes to showing what the numbers really are, as Lisa Raitt pointed out, Morneau's not in line with the PBO's most recent report, it's only about a month old.
Today's fiscal update projects a $3 billion deficit this year, but of interest, the PBO, Parliamentary Budget Officer, has said that he's projecting a second straight surplus of $1.2 billion. And in the fiscal update for April to September that was also released this morning, the government's own numbers show that we're sitting currently in a $1.6 billion surplus.
So ignore Joe Oliver's numbers. Ignore those numbers. Look at the numbers that the Liberals have told us for years are gospel truth, those coming from the PBO. We should have a $1.2 billion surplus this year and deficits going forward, unless the government makes changes. But that's not what Morneau wants. That's not what Justin Trudeau wants. They want deficits now. They want to blame the deficits on Stephen Harper and then ramp up their spending. So they're going to go from a $1.2 billion projected surplus from the PBO for this year to a $3 billion deficit. Then they will ramp up their spending. This is about lies and obfuscation, folks. This is running from the same playbook that Dalton McGuinty used when he took power in 2003. Not a big surprise, many of the people surrounding Justin Trudeau came out of Queen's Park, the Ontario legislature. They helped Dalton McGuinty when he was in power. I warned you for a long time, if you loved what Dalton McGuinty and Kathleen Wynne did for Ontario, turning it from a have province to a have-not province, then you'll love what the Trudeau gang will do for Canada. They want deficit spending. They're going to get to those numbers one way or another, and I have no doubt that come the end of March, we will have at least a $3 billion deficit. Not because it's real, but because they will create one. As Raitt pointed out, the current fiscal monitor shows us well over $1 billion surplus from April to September of this year. But mark my words, by the time we get to the end of March, the Liberals will have found a way to ramp up spending, be it on Syrian refugees or any other whim that comes their way to hit that $3 billion mark. Then they'll be able to blame all their deficit spending on Stephen Harper and the Conservatives, and they'll get to their own balanced budget, maybe by the time the next election comes around. Politics, it's a grand game, isn't it?